Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, perfect. Okay, just a second. In today's lecture, we are going to talk about herbs for different dhatus. In the previous lectures, we have studied Rasa Dhatu, Rakta Dhatu, Maus Dhatu. So in today's class, we will see some herbs, like some specific herbs that will help to correct the imbalances in these doshas, in these dhatus. So in today's class, we will review a little bit about Rasa Dhatu. Then we will see specific herbs that work very well on Rasa Dhatu. Then we will review Rakta Dhatu. Then we will study herbs for Rakta Dhatu. And at the end, we will review Maus Dhatu. And we will see some different herbs for Maus Dhatu. So we have already seen this that Rasa Dhatu is the first dhatu in our body. It is liquid in nature. It is present all over the body, and it is cold, heavy, unctuous, flowing in nature, and it is water element predominant dhatu in our body. And according to the modern science, we can call it as a plasma. So that is our Rasa Dhatu. Can anyone write what are the two accessory elements of Rasa Dhatu or two upadhatus of Rasa Dhatu? Okay, that's perfect. Menstrual fluid and breast milk. So these are the two accessory elements or upadhatus of Rasa Dhatu. And the health of these two depends on the health of Rasa Dhatu. So any disturbances in the Rasa Dhatu will reflect on the menstrual fluid and breast milk. So that's why Rasa Dhatu is important. During Rasa Dhatu, we have also seen how it gets imbalanced by different doshas. So these are the different ways doshas get moved into dhatus. For example, disturbances in our diet, lifestyle, stress, then drinking ice cold water, any kind of emotional trauma literally disturbs our healthy equilibrium state, and they aggravate doshas. Generally, when doshas get aggravated, they raise or they get increased in their own places, and once they become kind of really or more aggravated, they move from their place and they start going into different dhatus. So that's we called as they moved into different dhatus. So when this thing happens, the gunas or the qualities of the doshas are reflected within those dhatus. For example, when vata moved into rasa dhatu, the qualities of vata will move into rasa dhatu. So that's why I'm just given this slide. So for example, when vata dosha moved into rasa dhatu, the vata's qualities like dry, light, all get reflected into rasa dhatu. So for example, we will get dry skin, eczema, even our lips becomes dry, mouth becomes dry. Then in addition to this, person also suffers or also starts showing different issues like dry stools, constipation, dry hair, then menstrual issues. Menstrual issues will be the menstrual fluid will be more darkish in color. The periods will be short duration periods. Even the menstrual fluid will be of lesser quantity. Breast milk will be also dry in nature. It will be very light in nature. So these are the issues will get reflected when Vata will move into Rasadhatu. Similarly, when Pitta will move into Rasadhatu, all the qualities of Pitta will reflect. That is hot, sharp, oily. All these qualities moved into Rasadhatu, and the person suffers from different issues like acne or pimples, boils. Then sharp pain can be seen during menstruation. The bleeding type will be very heavy and it will be prolonged bleeding. So it will last about 5 to 7 days, and bleeding will be also more than 2 pads per day. So that's much sharp, heavy bleeding will occur. Then diarrhea is also present. So, and the general body temperature will be also raised. So thus we can differentiate that Pitta is moved into Rasadhatu. And many times at this stage, if we do not control these doshas, they moved into the next dhatu, So for example, if we do not control Pitta in Rasadhatu, then it will easily moved into Rakta Dhatu, Mausa Dhatu, Medha Dhatu. And when it starts moving down to the deeper dhatus, generally all the doshas kind of get aggravated or provoked. And many times, especially after Mausa dhatu, you will see aggravation of all 3 doshas or imbalance of all 3 doshas. So, for example, in the conditions like diabetes mellitus or hypertension or any kind of a deep-seated neurological conditions, you will find imbalances of all 3 doshas, that is Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So that's why all 3 doshas and as well as all 7 dhatus also get affected. So that's why these conditions become really hard to cure. So for Block 2 scope, for Block 2 students, our scope is limited to Rasa, Rakta, and Mausa Dhatu. Then when Kapha dosha moves into Rasa Dhatu, Kapha and Rasa has very similar properties. They are both are cold in nature. Both are anxious in nature. So you can see that literally there is increase in Rasa Dhatu as opposed to the decrease in Vata dosha. So the Kapha qualities will be seen in menstruation. The bleeding will be a little bit heavy, but it will be of a regular duration. Then or it will be more of a clotting type of bleeding. Then breast milk will be also more anxious. It will be more heavy in nature. Then the person will show rise of tamoguna in nature. So generally he will have lethargy or generalized heaviness or generalized full body heaviness, laziness. So these are the conditions can be seen. The skin will be cold and clammy type of skin can be seen, and the person will appear little pale, or pale skin is can be easily seen. So these are the different issues a person can exhibit when kapha moves into Rasadhatu. And after this, we have seen different diseases related to Rasadhatu. So, like, there are like some very common diseases like disinclination for food, anorexia, or loss of appetite, we can say, nausea, lethargic feeling, drowsiness, then heaviness in abdomen or heaviness in generalized full body. Then person will have fever, early graying of hair, anemia, appearance of wrinkles. So these are the general issues related with Rasadhatu. And in addition to this, persons can also exhibit dry skin, dry eczema, then he will have constipation. For Ayurvedic protocol, we have seen that when Rasadhatvagni is low, the Rasadhatu form will be of poor quality, but the quantity will be more because it is not fully cooked. So that's why Rasadhatu quantity is more, but the more quantity, the quantity is just the more, but the quality is not good. So that's why it will not be able to nourish the next dhatu, that is Rakta Dhatu. So that's why we always see issues with increased quantity with poor quality. Then in case of high Rasagni, the it kind of literally burning up the dhatus, so that's why the quantity becomes low, but quality is improved, but overall quantity is reduced. That's why still we see signs of deficiency. And we have seen different measures how we can treat these. So we have seen different like methods like upvas, that means fasting. So we can advise people to do fasting. So especially for kapha people, we can advise them to have longer gaps in between their meals, so that they will have enough time to digest their first meal, and then they can go for the next meal. So many times upvas helps when there is a presence of ama, and that can help. Uh, Person with low rasagni generally shows good health, or he doesn't show any signs of deficient rasalatu or like any signs of dehydration. He still has like a good amount of rasadhatu, but he will show signs like lethargy or tiredness, generalized fatigue, heaviness. He will have like sweet taste in his mouth, or kind of a reduced or indigestion or early phases of indigestion. So those are very common. So very simple imbalances of Jatharagni can be reflected in imbalances of the Rasadhatvagni also. So any signs of like indigestion is reflects as a lower Rasadhatvagni. And in case of higher Rasadhatvagni, the person feels hungry all the time, but still he gets like a dry skin, dry mouth, and he will not be able to all his still he will show kind of a depleted dhatus or a lack of different dhatus or tissue elements. Generalized, his body weight is kind of on thinner side. He will have a less muscle mass, or less kind of a less developed body, we will say, or less nourished body. So, and they feel all the time hungry, their body temperature is always raised. No matter how big meal they will eat, they will still feel to eat within like half an hour to 1 hour. So that's how their Agni becomes really high. And so we can literally see that it's a kind of a high burning fire, and we are adding like a little bit of ghee in it, and it's kind of a burning very rapidly. So that's how high Rasadhatu can be exhibited. So in this case, we have to go with like a little heavy and anxious type of food. So it will take a long time to digest that food. So that's how you can tackle with high Rasadhatu. But high Rasadhatu issues are very less common, and in overall, because I have seen only like 2 or 3 cases of high Rasagni up till now. So many times people come with low Rasadhatvagni and basic Jatragni issues. So we have to pay more attention to low Rasadhatvagni. Then for diminished Rasadhatu, we can give coconut water, different juices, milk. And for rejuvenation, for Rasadhatu, or rasayana therapy, we can give grapes, dates, and shatavari. So we will talk about these different herbs in next slide. So pippali. On the right hand side, you will see the picture of pippali. So that's the fruit of pippali, and its botanical name is Piper longum. Longum means the fruit is kind of a really long in nature. It is its size is really close to the matchstick. So that's why in the picture is you can see the matchstick. So that's how the pippalis are really long in nature. In Ayurvedic synonyms, you will find different synonyms like shundika. Shundika means it looks like a trunk of an elephant. Then second synonym is Agnika. Agnika means it is just like fire. It is very hot in nature. It has a very strong heating qualities, heating and sharp qualities. So that's why it's called as Agnika. So these are the very popular synonyms of Pippali. Morphologically, Pippali is a climber, and useful parts are fruit and root. These are the common parts that are used in herbal preparations. Rasa or taste of Pippali is sweet, pungent, and bitter in nature. It is oily and light in nature. It has very light, oily, and hot in nature. Virya is slightly heating in nature, and Vipak is sweet. Together, its effect on doshas is tridoshik, or it balances all three doshas. But when you consume Pippali in excess, it acts as a pitta provocating, or it will increase your pitta dosha. So in good amounts, or in the good amounts, it acts as a tridoshik, but if you start eating Pippali excess, then it will increase your pitta dosha. General karma of Pippali is rasayan dravya, and it is kasaharam. So Pippali, being tridoshik, it literally works on all three doshas. It balances all three doshas. For example, sweet qualities, sweet oily qualities helps to balance vata dosha. Then heating, a little bit of heating, pungent qualities helps to balance kapha dosha. And again, sweet qualities and light nature helps to balance pitta dosha. So in this way, it works as a tridoshik, and it balances all three doshas. It works as a rasayan, or a rejuvenation, but for rejuvenation purpose, Pippali is always given as a Vardhaman rasayan. So Vardhaman rasayan is actually very specific for the Pippali. On day one, the person has to eat either 3 Pippalis or 6 Pippalis, and then the dose of the Pippalis goes on increasing up to 10th day, and after 10th day, again the dose goes on reducing by the same amount. So for example, if the first day person is eating 3 Pippalis, the very next day he has to eat 6 Pippalis, then on the third day he will eat 9 Pippalis. That the amount of Pippali will go on increasing by 3 till day 10, and after day 10 again the amount goes on reducing by 3 to it will become 0 on again day 20. So that's how Pippali is given in case of Vardhaman Rasayan. Then another specific karma of Pippali is Kasaharam. It is an excellent bronchodilator. It works very well on respiratory conditions and like very common conditions like cough and cold, asthma, hiccups. Then many times if the person is having allergy issues, then Pippali works very well. Why Pippali is important for Rasa Dhatu? Because it helps to balances Agni. It improves digestion. It improves the health of Jathar Agni, as well as it improves the health of Rasa Dhatu Agni. So that's why Pippali works very well. Yes, you can see like many types of different types of adulteration with these raw Pippalis, even raw Pippali, raw paper. So just be aware to buy from the renowned source or the familiar source. So Pippali works very well in improving your appetite. So that's why it is used in cases of anorexia, then loss of appetite, indigestion. If the person is having just abdominal colic, then Pippalis can be also given. Another use of Pippali, it is used to treat anemia, as it also acts on Rakta Dhatu and it enhances Rakta Dhatu Agni. So Pippali works on your Jatharagni, it works on your Rasadhatu Agni, and in addition to that, Pippali also works on your Raktadhatu Agni. So that's why in cases of anemia, or we can say Pandu, Pippali works very well. Can anyone write what is the another formulation of Pippali that you have used very commonly? Trikatu, yes, that's the common formulation of Pippali. So Trikatu has a Suntha, that is dry ginger, Marich, that is black pepper, and Pippali, that is a long pepper. So we use Trikatu all the time. So whenever there is imbalance of Agni, we use Trikatu. Whenever there is presence of Ama, we use Trikatu. So Pippali is one of the ingredients. So just in case if you do not get Pippali, or if you do not get Trikatu churna, then you can just go with dry ginger powder, or you can go with black pepper, depending upon what is your health of Agni or what is your status of Agni, and then you can select from these different churnas. But together this combination works very well. And if you give it with little bit of honey, then it either you can give it with honey or you can give it with ghee. So both ways it works very well. These anupans are basically depends on which dosha is imbalanced and what is the prakriti of that person. If the person is having pitta prakriti, then we generally suggest give pippali with ghee. So ghee is kind of a pitta pacifying, and it helps to control the pitta, or it helps to avoid the aggravation of pitta by eating pippali. If the person is having kapha prakriti, then we can give him with honey, Trikatu churna with honey. Honey is heating in nature, and it is also drying in nature, so it kind of acts as a kapha pacifying anupan. So Anupan, actually we haven't started our Dravya module, but just to introduce you the concept of Anupan. So Anupan is anything that we give along with our herbal preparation. So those are called as Anupans. So they act as a vehicle and they help literally these herb ingredients to go deep down in different srotasas and in different dhatus, and they work over there. So if the person is eating Trikatu churna only with water, then it will have less effect if he is eating with ghee preparation, or if he is eating with honey. So honey and ghee acts as a vehicle. It takes down the Trikatu deep down to the different srotasas. It will carry it out up to the Medava srotas, and it will start acting over there. So that's how these anupans are very helpful. They literally enhances the properties or gunas of particular dravya. So that's why you will always see Ayurvedic formulation, they are given at certain time and with certain substances. Then other preparations or formulations of pippali is simple pippali churnam, then pippali asav. So asav is the kind of a wine preparation of pippali. Again, it is also heating in nature. Then next herb is chitrak, and its botanical name is Plumbago velanica. On the right hand side, you will see the picture of chitrak flowers. It comes in like three varieties: white, blue, and pink or reddish. So it is called as a Shweta Chitrak, Neela Chitrak, and Rakta Chitrak. So out of these, I have seen white and blue plants everywhere in San Diego. So if you just keep an eye on these plants, you can see anywhere, literally along the roadside, along the fences. These are very common plants, and they look really pretty on the road. So you have already come across these plants. Morphologically, this is also a climbing type of herb, and parts used are root, Rasa is pungent and bitter, and its guna are sharp, penetrative in nature. It is very dry and light in nature. Its virya is heating in nature. It is ushna in nature, and vipak is pungent in nature. So Chitrak is slightly more heating than Pippali. So you have to be very careful with selecting your herbs. So depending upon Prakriti, depending upon health of that person, you have to select between these different herbs. Then effect on doshas, it will pacify kapha dosha and vata dosha, but it will aggravate pitta dosha because it's very heating in nature and its vipak is also pungent. So if you look at in the previous slide of Pippali, the Pippali's vipak is sweet in nature, so that's why it is kind of and it is little less heating, so that's why it works as a tridoshik and you can give it to any type of person. But Chitrak, the vipak is pungent in nature, it is very heating in nature, so that's why it will definitely aggravate your pitta dosha. So that's why you have to use Chitrak very carefully in Pitta Prakriti person and different Pitta type of issues. Again, it works as an Agni Deepan, Deepan Pachan. So Agni Deepan means it will stimulate your Agni, it will stimulate your digestive fire and also Dhatwagnis. And it helps in Pachan, especially it helps in Am Pachan. And that will it help to digest accumulated ama inside our body. And in the later stages, it also works very well on Meda Dhatu, and it acts as a Medohara, or it literally burns fat. It ignites digestive fire and it ensures proper digestion and assimilation of the food. Then it is very helpful in painful hemorrhoids. So in case of hemorrhoids, you will see Visheshan of Rasa Dhatu, Rakta Dhatu and Mausa Dhatu. So it works very well on Mausa and Meda Dhatu. So that's why another karma of Chitrak, it acts as a scraping agent, or we can call it as a Lekhana karma. So it literally scrapes down any issues with Mausa Dhatu. So that's why it is very useful in hemorrhoids. And it is a very good fat burner or Medohara. Famous formulations are Chitrakadi Vati, so that's very common. And or Chitrakadi Gruta is also very common. So you can use either of these formulations. Then next herb is Punarnava. On the right hand side you will see the picture of Punarnava herb, and its botanical name is Boharvia diffusa. It is a small creeping type of herb, and generally a whole part is used for making different preparations or herbal formulations. Its rasa or taste is sweet, bitter and astringent in nature. Its qualities are light, dry, and virya is heating in nature, vipak is sweet. Karma, Punarnava also acts as a rasayan. So rasayan dravyas are rejuvenating herbs. They literally gives you new life. They works on almost all dhatus, and they provide or they bring good immunity in you, or they improves your immunity. So that's why these are called as a rasayan dravyas. And another and the most important function of Punarnava is it acts as a Mutra Janan and Shothahara. So Mutra Janan means it acts as a diuretic, and Shothahara means it helps to, Shotha means edema, so it helps to reduce edema in our body. So many times edema is due to the accumulation of water inside our body, or we can say accumulation of rasa or accumulation of lymphatics, and we get either we get generalized body edema, or we can get a specific area edema. So it helps to relieve that accumulated water from our body, and it acts as an Mutrajanan. It acts as an Tridoshik also, so you can give it to any person. It supports optimum weight management. So many times you will see, especially with the Kapha Prakriti person, you will see water retention is very common in such a people. So that's why you can give Punarnava. It is very useful in the polycystic ovarian syndrome. It is useful in edema, heart diseases like congestive cardiac failure, where you can see accumulation of water. Then it is also good in anemia and different types of eye disorders like cataract, conjunctivitis, blepharitis. So in these, especially in these eye disorders, you can use root. You have to make a paste of that root and add little bit honey in it, and then you have to apply it at the area of infection. But nowadays we kind of avoid using directly root paste and honey in the eyes, because it has to be very distilled, or it has to be pure, it has to be bacteria free, and then only we can add it to our eyes. Otherwise you will have like another bacterial infection. So for that matter, nowadays you can get like a proper eye drops that are made up of herbal different herbs. For example, is Ofta Care, so that is also an Ayurvedic preparation of eye drops. So you can directly use those for these type of diseases. Then famous formulation is Punarnava Mandur and Punarnava Serve. So how much quantity should be taken? It actually very specific to the person to person, because depending upon his weight and depending upon his dosha imbalances. So for example, in case of Punarnavasa, we can give him like 1 teaspoon 3 times per day, and we can give him up to like 10 days, 15 days. But if the person is having signs of dehydration by drinking Punarnavasa literally for a few days, then we have to stop it. So that's why I will suggest you have to look for the patient, look at his weight, his age, then what are his issues, then what is his status of his dosha imbalances. And then we can suggest giving Punarnavasa. When in case of Rasadhatu, when it is imbalanced with Kapha dosha, or when it is when Kapha moves into Rasadhatu, many times we will see signs of water retention in those patients, and in that cases you can use Punarnava along with other herbs. But when you are using Punarnava, make sure that he is drinking enough water, and at the time you have to ask him to drink warm water so that it will stimulate his Agni. If the person drinks cold water or refrigerated water, naturally it lowers the Agni, or it kind of cause more formation of ama inside the body. So that's why water should be warm, and he should maintain the hydration. Yes, quantity and the dose, we will cover in when we'll come to the Dravya Guna module. So right now I'm just giving this information to help you out with different dhatus, like which herbs you can select. Because a dose and the quantity of the dose, it literally depends on 15 to 20 factors. So that's why it is very difficult to cover in block 2. So we will talk about that in block 3. Then another herb that is kumari. Its botanical name is aloe vera. Morphologically, it is an herb, and useful part is a leaf and pulp. It's very bitter, sweet in nature, but it is oily, slimy in nature, and its virya is cooling in nature, but vipak is pungent. So mainly it supports liver function and it maintains a healthy digestion because of its bitter qualities, bitter and pungent gunas qualities. It is used, Kumari, in Sanskrit, Kumari means young woman, or we can say young woman, or we can say woman that has started showing periods. So these are the called as Kumari. Or so the aloe is named as a Kumari because it helps it helps in the issues with menstrual fluid or menstrual cycle. Hence, it is called as a Kumari. So who takes care of a kanya, or who takes care of a small girl, is called as Kumari. So that's the meaning of the word Kumari, and as per the meaning, it also works in especially in the diseases of menstrual fluid. Internally, it detoxifies liver and blood. It is very helpful in splenomegaly or spleen enlargement. It increases the secretions of the small intestines. It helps to increase the peristalsis of intestines. It also acts as a mild laxative. Then in addition to this, it works excellent in menstrual it works very well in all the menstrual issues, hemorrhagia, metrorrhagia. It corrects the menstrual cycle, not only the flow, but it regulates the menstrual cycle. So that's why it is used in all female disorders. Then the famous formulations is Kumari Asav. So apart from this, Kumari also works very well in different types of skin issues. It works very well on Rakta Dhatu. It helps to purify Rakta Dhatu. It acts as a blood purifier. So in that case, it helps to reduce scars and hyperpigmentation that is very commonly seen in Rakta Dhatu issues. So it works very well on all acne, pimples, any type of old skin issues. So at that time, you can use the pulp or the gel. You can just mix it with little turmeric powder, and you can apply it directly on the skin. Or you can drink aloe juice throughout the day. It also works to improve your appetite. In case of women, the famous formulation that is used is Kumari Asav. So it is a wine preparation out of aloe. And again, Kumari Asav you can give like 1 to 2 teaspoons 3 times per day. And we have to mix it with the same amount of water. So for example, if you are giving the dose of 2 TSF, then you have to add 2 teaspoons of water in it. Then you have to mix it, and then you have to drink it. Because all these asav preparations are kind of heating in nature, and they can burn your throat, or they can cause like burning sensation or irritation in your throat. So that's why they have to be diluted, and then you can consume those. Then next herb is Shatavari. Its botanical name is Asparagus racemosus. So Shatavari means, Shata means 100, and Vari means wives, or that's the meaning of word Shatavari. So one who can pleases or one who can please 100 wives is called as a Shatavari. So Shatavari works very well on any type of male issues as well as female reproductive type issues. Then another meaning of Shatavari means it cures 100 diseases of women. So that's why that is also another name of Shatavari. And if you look at the another synonym, it is called as Shatamula. Means when you pull out the Shatavari plant from the ground, you will literally see 100 to 200 big nodules of Shatavari under the root. So that's why the one has more than 100 roots is called as a Shatavari. So these are the different synonyms of Shatavari. So morphologically, it is a climber in nature, and a useful part is root. Rasa is very sweet in nature. It is heavy, oily in nature. It is cooling, sweet in nature. So in general, it works as a rasayan dravya. It acts as a stanyajanan, prajasthapan. Prajasthapan means it helps in developing healthy, good progeny. Then Vajikara. Vajikar means it acts as an aphrodisiac. Then next one is Balya. So it improves overall health of your Rasadhatu, Mausadhatu, Medadhatu. Then its effect on dosha, it is Vata and Pitta pacifying in nature, and it will aggravate Kapha dosha. Because it is sweet, heavy, oily, cooling, so all these properties will increase your Kapha dosha. Shatavari is used in menorrhagia, polymenorrhea, then in cases of threatened abortion, or we can say if the woman or if the lady is coming across like repetitive abortion or like with any no significant reason or with no any congenital issues, then in those cases you can use herb Shatavari. Then issues with infertility, especially male infertility, you can advise Shatavari. And in general debility, especially this is very common in old age patients. So in old age patients, over the period of time when they go into their Vata age, like about 70 years, naturally health of all dhatus kind of shows decline or declination, or we can call them, they are kind of depleting in nature. So at that time they lack of strength, they lack stamina. So if you give them Shatavari, it helps to develop all dhatus, it helps to develop muscle mass, and it works very well, giving them the strength and stability. Shatavari acts as an excellent stanyajanan. So stanyajanan means it improves the health of breast milk, and it also helps to improve the quantity of breast milk. So for example, many times, especially in Vata women, we see they kind of have low milk quantity after delivery. So that's why you can ask them to drink Shatavari mixed with warm milk on a daily basis 2 to 3 times. And this will improve their quality and the quantity of the milk, breast milk. So that's why Shatavari acts as an stanyajanan, that it will help to secrete more and more milk. And being Shatavari is very kind of a nutriting and balya in nature. The milk, it also gets secreted into the milk, and the baby or the baby also gets all the nourishment or the good qualities of Shatavari, and the health of the baby is also becomes nice. The baby will also become very chubby and healthy in nature. So Shatavari basically used in menorrhagia and polymenorrhea. When these are associated with Vata and Pitta issues, then at that time you can give Shatavari. So many times if the bleeding is heavy bleeding with intense sharp burning sensation, then you can use Shatavari to pacify Pitta dosha. So that's why it is called as, it is a kind of a lifesaver, or it works very well. It works on 100 diseases of women. It works from simple menstrual issues to the breast milk issues. It works on Prajasthapan, that is, it works on having healthy progeny. Uh, it maintains the health of the fetus. It maintains the fetus for 9 months inside a woman's body. So it works literally on all of the issues of women. So that's why it is called as a Shatavari. And this herb you can use internally as well as externally. Internally, you can give it as a Shatavari Guruta, or you can give it as a Shatavari Kalpa, or you can use just a Shatavari tablets. And externally, you can use it in the form of Mahanarayan tail. So Mahanarayan tail, it is a basic sesame oil, and it is Shatavari is added in it while making that oil formulation. This oil works very well on the chronic joint issues, or we can say Sandhigatavat, so or simple osteoarthritis. So whenever you get like cracking or popping noise in your knee joints, you can use this Mahanarayan oil for massage, and it gives good health. Even in small babies, you can use a Mahanarayan tail for massage, and it improves their muscle tone and muscle mass. Then we will see issues related with Rakta Dhatu. Many times Rakta issues are related with skin issues. For example, Kushtha, Visarpa, Rakta Pitta, acne, Tilakalak means different types of black spots. Then abscesses, dermatitis, that is skin infections, hematuria, that is blood while urinating, then gingivitis, bleeding through gums, hepatitis, that is inflammation of liver, then menorrhagia, again heavy menstrual bleeding with sharp pain, then pruritus means formation of pustules over the skin, urticaria, and Vata-Rakta. Can Kumari use? Yes, we can use Kumari directly from the plant, as we can make a juice out of it, or even you can eat pulp. But eating raw Kumari is very hard because it is extremely bitter in nature. So many times, if you have to drink like a glass of Kumari, then people literally vomit after drinking such a bitter herb. So that's why many times different formulations are prepared, so that that bitterness is kind of reduced by adding other substances. So if that person doesn't have any problems with its bitter qualities or bitterness, then he can eat directly. But only other thing is like Kumari. Kumari is also very heating in nature. When you peel the Kumari, you will see little small droplets of water. So it's called, in Marathi we call it as a cheek of Kumari. So you have to avoid that cheek, and then you have to go with the inner pulp, because that cheek is extremely heating in nature, and if it touches your skin, it can give you kind of a burning sensation, or it will form like a burn marks. So that's how it is heating in nature. So you have to avoid that part, and you have to go with the pulp inside the Kumari. And for Rakta Dhatu Ayurvedic protocol, we have seen for vitiated Rakta Dhatu, we can do bloodletting or Rakta Mokshan or Virechan therapy. In case of herbs, we can use Sariva, Chandan, that is a sandalwood, Dadi means pomegranate, and Amalki. Rakta Shodhak or Rakta purifying herbs are Lodra, Manjishta, and Haridra. Haridra is turmeric, so you can use these herbs. And Rasayan or the rejuvenation therapy for Rakta, you can use Amalki. So Amalki is the Rasayan Dravya for Rakta Dhatu. Similarly, Shatavari is the Rasayan herb for Vrasa Dhatu. So let's start with Amalki. Amalki, or in the common language, we call it as a Indian gooseberry. So it is, its botanical name is Embolica officinalis. Its morphology, it is tree. It's a big tree. And rasa of amla is pradhan in pancha rasa. So amla has 5 rasas in it except lavan. So it has a sweet, sour, bitter, pungent, astringent. So these 5 tastes are prominent in in amalki, so except salty taste. Then guna, it is light and dry in nature, and its virya is cooling or shita in nature. The vipak of amalki, it is sweet in nature. So amalki is the only dravya that has all 5 rasas, but its main taste is astringent in nature. And when you eat amalki, like raw amalki, and after you will get like that strong astringent taste in your mouth. And if you drink a little bit of or sip of water after that, you will get like a extreme sweetness in your mouth. So that sweetness is related with its vipak. So generally, when I was a kid, we always called that's the magic trick of amalki. So you get initially you get that astringent and sour taste, and later you get like a really sweet taste. So that was our little magic trick while playing. And effect on dosha. Being pancharasa pradhan, it works on all 3 doshas, vata, pitta and kapha, but it is the best pitta pacifying herb because its sweet nature, its cooling nature, and its light and dry nature. It works very nicely on all pitta issues. Karma, it is the best rasayan dravya. It supports digestive system, it supports respiratory system, and another use it is acts as an chakshusha. So chakshusha means chakshu means eye. So it improves your vision and it helps to cure all diseases of eyes. So that's why it is called as a chakshusha. Then it is commonly used in amla pitta or hyperacidity. Then regurgitation, that is acid reflux diseases. Then burning sensation, eye diseases like conjunctivitis, then other digestive problems. You can use amalki. Useful part, mainly fruit is used for making Ayurvedic preparations, but sometimes bark and leaves are also used. The very important formulation is Triphala Churna, Triphala Gruta, then Kashai, and biggest common preparation is Chavanprash. So Chavanprash literally acts as a rasayan herb. Chavanprash has also other 40 herbs in it, but amalki is the main compound or the main herb in Chavanprash. Over here, actually, I have mentioned really very few uses of amalki, but amalki literally works from head to toe. So amalki works on your hair issues, it works on your graying of hair, then falling of hair, early falling of hair. It works on all those issues. It improves your skin. Amalki is an excellent source of iron. It helps to improve iron content in the body. Thus, it helps in curing anemia. It works very well on Pitta dosha. It works very well on Rakta Dhatu also. It literally gives you that glow or aura that is related with amalki, and you can get a lustrous skin. So overall, it works very well as a rasayan dravya. The next dravya is dadim or pomegranate. On the right hand side, you will see the fruits of pomegranate. Botanical name is called as Punica granata. Its synonym is Rakta Bija. The one has a red seeds is called as Rakta Bija. Feeding mother can use any English massage. Yes, feeding lactating women can use different massage oils, and generally they won't affect baby much because these oils get by used by mother only. So when you do massage through skin, or if you do herbal oil for skin massage, they generally get absorbed, but they don't get transmitted into transmitted into breast milk. So that's why they can use different massage oils, and it won't affect the baby. But if you are taking any herbs internally or orally, we can say, at that time the amount that gets absorbed inside the body is much larger. So that's why when you take any herbs orally, they will get definitely transmit into the breast milk, and then it can affect the baby. Morphologically, this is a shrub, and parts used are fruit, seed, flower, and bark. Rasa, it is astringent, sour, and sweet. It is light, oily, it's cooling in nature, it's sour in nature, and effect on dosha, it is an excellent for pitta, and it reduces kapha and vata dosha. So overall, it acts as a tridoshik. Basically, it is used as a cardiotonic, or it helps to maintain the strength of cardiac muscles. Then it nourishes rasa dhatu as well as rakta dhatu. So that's the important use of dadim. Being sour in nature, sour, light in nature, it helps to improve digestive fire, and being sweet, astringent, it maintains the pitta dosha. So that's why it works very well on rasa and rakta dhatu. The fruit rind acts as an antidiarrheal, and it is also very digestive in nature. So especially if the person is having diarrhea, then you can ask him to eat the seeds of dadim, and it helps to form the stool. It gives bulk to the stool, and the stools will be kind of formed, especially in case of diarrhea. Another thing, it also acts as an rakta stambhak. So if there is any type of bleeding, you can use dadim churna, and it will help to stop bleeding. So it also works very well on pitta issues in rakta dhatu. So especially when there is any type of external bleeding. So like in case of hematuria or bleeding through bleeding while excretion of stool. So at that time also you can give dadim churna. It helps to stop the bleeding. Famous formulations are Dadimashtak churna. So, or you can just eat fruit as it is. Then another herb is Manjishtha. Manjishtha, it's called as a Rubia cordifolia. It's a climber, and parts used is root. It is bitter, astringent in nature. It is heavy heating in nature. It is kapha and pacifying in nature. Basic karma is varnya and rakta shodhak. Varnya means it improves your skin color, it improves your texture of skin, and it improves complexion, and it gives a nice glow to skin. And it acts as a rakta shodhak, means it purifies your blood. So if there are any impurities, it will remove those. And because when your rakta dhatu is nice, naturally it gives good glow to your skin, and all the skin issues kind of literally goes away. So it works very wonderfully on any type of skin diseases. I will say if the person is having pimples, acne, or many boils, eczema, you can give Manjistha, and it works very well. Then apart from this, you can use in gouty type of arthritis and other metabolic disorders also. The famous formulation of Manjistha is Manjistha Asav or Mahamanjistha Dikwat, or you can give Manjistha Churna also. So this is actually another excellent herb to work in skin diseases, and you can use this internally as well as externally. Internally, you can give these all quas preparations. Externally, you can make a paste of Manjistha and you can literally apply it over the skin. And after, just leave it for half an hour, then you can wash it off. While making paste, you can add turmeric powder in it, you can add sandalwood powder in it, and Manjistha powder. So you can just make a combination of these three, you can apply it over the skin. So that's called as a leper. So Manjistha works very well in all the skin issues. Then another herb is Lodra. Lodra, it's called as Symplochus racemosa. It's again a big tree. Its bark is used. It is astringent, light, and cooling in nature. This is also an excellent Rakta Stambhak, means it stops the bleeding immediately. It is very commonly used in female disorders like hemorrhagia, leukorrhea, then frequent abortions. So in these cases, especially in order to stop heavy bleeding, Lodra is used. Apart from this, it is also useful in various skin preparations or skin issues like acne, wrinkles. Then, so this is also used in different Ayurvedic packs, Ayurvedic face packs, sorry. So Lodra and Manjistha literally go hand in hand. And another type of Lodra is being astringent and cooling in nature. It acts as, it is very helpful in diarrhea and dysentery. And tenesmus means whenever there is like a severe abdominal colic, so it helps to reduce the colic. So this is very helpful. And the common preparation is Lodravati and Lodrasa. Then next common herb is Haridra or Cucurma longa. So up till now, all of us has used this herb very commonly, literally every day. Its parts used are rhizome and leaves. It is bitter, astringent in nature. It is light, dry in nature. It is very heating, pungent in nature. Effect on doshas, it acts as an excellent kapha, pitta and vata pacifying in moderation, but it works very well on kapha dosha. Main karma or pradhan karma is krimigna, that it works on various type of krimis, or we can call it as a bacterial infections. It acts as an antibacterial. Medohara means it helps to digest meda, and Rakta Shodhan means purifies blood. So it literally corrects the metabolism, and that's why it is used in issues like anemia, diabetes, high cholesterol. It purifies blood and improves complexions. So that's why it is used in many skin issues. Along with this, it has proven anti-cancerous properties. So it is used in different cancer issues. It is actually very commonly used in skin cancers, and it is very useful in allergy. So in general, Haridra acts as an anti-inflammatory, antibacterial in nature. And in case of improving skin complexion, you can mix it with a little bit of milk, and you can apply it all over the skin, all over the body, and it literally gives good glow and improves your skin color and gives a good complexion. Then famous formulation is Haridra Khanda. So you can eat this formulation. This formulation is sweet in nature, Haridra Khanda. Or you can make different pickles out of haridra, or you can make kvath, or you can just use haridra in different cooking, in like making different chutneys or making any type of mixed vegetables, rice. You can just use haridra in ghee and you can eat it. Then another herb that works on Rakta Dhatu is neem or nimba. Its botanical name is Azadirachta indica. Its morphology, it's a small tree, and its useful parts are root, leaves, bark, and even fruit seeds are used. It is extremely bitter in nature, just like Kumari. Its guna, it is light, dry in nature, it is cooling in nature, and it's pungent in nature. Karma, it acts as an kushtagna or kapha pittahara. It is very commonly used in skin diseases, eye diseases. It corrects metabolism, hence it is very useful or commonly used in diabetes mellitus. Then famous formulations are neem oil, nimba kashaya, and nimba swaras. Neem oil, you can apply it externally. Either you can mix it with coconut oil, or you can mix it with sunflower oil, sesame oil, and then you can use it for massage. Or in cases of eczema, you can put directly neem oil on the affected parts. Then neem kashaya you can take internally, neem swaras you can take internally, and even you can boil neem leaves and you can use that water for taking bath. So it works as an anti-inflammatory, antiseptic, antibacterial. So that's why it is very useful in skin diseases. This is due to vitiated mouse dhatu. So we have seen all these diseases already. Granuloma, myoma, fibroma, hemorrhoids, tonsillitis. In case of mouse dhatu, we have to use, in case of excess mouse dhatu when it is vitiated by kapha dosha, we have to use heating herbs like trikatu, kutki, ginger. And in case of diminished dhatu, we have to use bala, ashwagandha, shatavari. So out of this, we have already know about trikatu and ginger. So let's talk about herbs that will work on diminished mouse dhatu. So first one is ashwagandha. It's called as a Withania somnifera. It is also a rasan herb. So ashwagandha is another herb that works on rasa dhatu, rakta dhatu, as well as mouse dhatu, but it is the best for mouse dhatu, I will say. Mainly it is roots are used. And it is balya and vajikaran in nature. And the famous formulation is Bala Ashwagandha Tail and Ashwagandha Churna. So Ashwagandha helps to increase your muscle mass. It improves your mouse dhatwagni. So you have to just be careful in Pitta Prakriti person because of its heating virya, it can aggravate Pitta dosha. But it works very well in Vata and Kapha dosha. So Ashwagandha, you can use it internally as well as externally. And this is our last slide. Kanchanar. Kanchanar is another herb that works very well on mouse dhatu. It's called as Bauhenia variegata, and its tree useful part is root, bark, leaves, and flowers. It is very astringent, light, and dry in nature. It acts as an kapahara and medahara. So especially when there is increased kapha dosha in mouse dhatu, at that time you will see formation of different tumors or fibroids. So at that time you can use Kanchanar. For example, fibroids in breast, fibroids in uterus. So at that time Kanchanar is the best herb to choose. So for all types of extra growth in our body, it is used. It is recommended for enlarged thyroid and imbalances of thyroid hormones. Then bark paste is used in lymphadenitis, so you can apply it externally and you can also take internally. The astringent test acts as an hemostatic, so it is also helpful in menorrhagia. And the famous formulation is Kanchanar Gugulu, or you can just simply give Kanchanar Churna also. This is it. Thank you for patiently